Hello, Dr. Schmitz. I'm Michael Perry, and this is my presentation on my self-evaluation related to the strengths and weaknesses um, of my leadership style. My first strength is actually related to the environment that my office is set up in. In reading creating an environment to encourage creativity and innovation, this made me think of my office location as a benefit that I've been able to take advantage of. My office is located directly across from the dispatch center, which is manned 24 hours a day by sworn personnel as well as civilian dispatchers, and it's directly across from our report room, which is the main hub of the barracks for where the troopers come and go to get their mail and do their reports. What I found was that there was a lot of spontaneous meetings and discussions about concerns about the agency as well as our department and the barracks itself. And I noticed that the troopers were not using the report room the way it was designed to be used. They were actually sitting in the parking lot in their cars doing the reports on their mobile data terminals in their cruisers. And talking to them and listening to some of their concerns, was basically found out that it was uncomfortable, it wasn't conducive to do their work in there. And I took the challenge on, and I was actually able to find an intersection with our workers' comp carrier through OSHA, and they had grant money available to prevent workplace injuries, carpal tunnel, etc., and had money available to buy new furniture, chairs, keyboard trays, computer stands to benefit our troop. And after purchasing these items, troopers came back into the barracks. They were happy workers or good workers. They were utilizing the report room in the manner that it was supposed to be utilized. We had extreme fiscal constraints at the time, and we were only allowed to purchase items that were deemed to be an emergency, and this was a creative alternative to finding money to mutually benefit the troopers as well as the OSHA's goals to reduce workers' comp claims. Another strength I feel is creative abrasion, and I originally thought and started this as a weakness. Working in a paramilitary organization, we are given orders and we're expected to follow them. If we don't, it's considered insubordination and we're subject to discipline. So therefore, I didn't think there was much creative abrasion, but I thought about it more critically, and in doing a lot of the readings, I changed my mind and thought of an example with my lieutenant, who's my commanding officer. I would have a lot of private and respectful, constructive conflicts with him, where I was expressing different points of view, different alternatives to him, and I saw that he was getting upset, and he actually made the comment that I wasn't supporting him as the second in command. I explained to him that I was actually not in disagreement with his decision, but I was just simply trying to provide him with alternative views and perspectives so that he would feel more comfortable in his decision. I stated in some of my posts that I feel that a lot of managers are also I termed bobbleheads. They blindly agree with the decisions of their supervisors without questioning it, whether they think it's a good idea or not. If it's the idea that their manager is presenting, they think it's a great, and I don't think that's conducive to creative and innovative ideas and concepts. And I think that creative abrasion was very beneficial and continues to be. I didn't recognize exactly what it was at the time, but now I do. Weakness is I am guilty of not accepting feedback very well and taking issues personally. I think I need to exercise critical thinking and active listening more when listening to people in meetings. An example of this was a trooper who requested training, a week-long training. The troopers are aware that we have staffing issues and overtime restrictions to attend training, and it was pretty clear to me that he wasn't going to fit in the training schedule, and he was therefore denied. After learning that he was denied, he was vocal about being denied the training. So I called him in to discuss it, and what I learned after actively listening to him he worked midnights, and he was willing to work midnights and then go on his own time. He just simply needed me to approve his training to go to the training. And it was a creative alternative that I hadn't thought of, and I just wasn't listening. I saw his request, and I thought it was the typical request of I want to be switched to a different schedule, and or go on paid training. And it was something that I learned a lot from. That there are other alternatives, there are other options, and I don't think that I listened completely to what he was attempting to accomplish. Another weakness I feel I have is that I think it's a common trait of I surround myself with individuals that are similar to me in mindset and opinion. I think it's more comfortable and an easy way to go through uh, being a manager, but the challenge is to be surrounded by more diverse um, people that will challenge your beliefs. Um, I previously posted that law enforcement I didn't think was very diverse. I thought that we hired people of similar um, mindsets, and again, after thinking about it more critically, I reconsidered and feel we actually are very diverse in looking at different people's resumes and their backgrounds, age, sex, race, religion, previous occupations, that we actually have a very diverse group of people that we can draw from and use those resources. I would like to use aliens as our readings taught us in some of our teams to come in and to provide that creative abrasion to challenge the beliefs and the concepts that a lot of people hold um, as like traditional policing. I think it's going to be a challenge. I think it'll be a lot of resistance to change, and people won't fully understand it. And I think that it's going to be a challenge for the entire agency. I think it would reap great rewards though. A final weakness I feel is I need to improve on breaking down associative barriers related to people's abilities. I touched on that briefly. I tend to simply pigeonhole someone quickly on their age, maybe their time on the job or seniority, and will only assign them to tasks or feel that they're ready for certain assignments. One trooper in particular comes to mind. After meeting him, he's very quiet, shy, young-looking, and unassuming. After meeting him and discussing his resume, he's actually a New York City police veteran. He is a helicopter pilot and has his master's degree and has 6 kids. So he has a lot of life experiences that I never would have thought. He has a lot of technical training and abilities that would have gone untapped. So I think breaking down associative barriers based on people's abilities um, is a great challenge, and that we can really benefit from in tapping the resources of our um, personnel. So my goals are basically breaking down associative barriers, surrounding myself with people who are different than me, and begin to be more accepting to constructive conflict. Knowledge is power, and I feel that recognizing these issues now in this format will make it easier for me to understand why things that I've done in the past work and why other things have not. Thank you very much. I've enjoyed taking your class.